So we got Giordy, VP of Investor Relations for Silver47 Exploration Corp. I think they got like $50+ million in the bank now to explore a bunch of different projects, advanced silver projects in North America. So I won't steal your thunder, Giordy. Let's take it from there, bud.
Thanks for the introduction there, Arlen, and thanks for having me on your guys' conference again. It's always a pleasure to tune in. I'll run through the presentation. If anyone has any questions at the end, please feel free to ask away. So Silver47, to introduce the company, we are creating a leading high-grade US-focused silver developer. Right now, we have three core assets in the Western United States. The Red Mountain project in Alaska is the most advanced out of the three. It's about 100 kilometers south of Fairbanks in Alaska. We have our Hughes project in central Nevada, halfway between Reno and Las Vegas. This is in the historic Tonopah mining district. And then our third asset is the Mogollon project in southwest New Mexico. Now, jointly, these three assets host a combined 247 million ounces silver equivalent. Average grades here span from 3 to over 400 grams per ton, depending on which project and zones indicated or inferred. Right now, we actually have $53 million in working capital and are fully funded to execute drill programs on all three of these assets throughout 2026. Now, the last thing I just want to point out on this slide, and I don't want to throw too many numbers at you here, but just to highlight some of our top drill intercepts on each project. Up in Alaska, 36 meters of 672 grams, 2.8 meters of almost 4,000 grams in Nevada, and 31 meters of 448 grams in New Mexico. I think that these numbers stack very favorably to some of our other world-class peers. And I'm really excited about the drilling that we have planned throughout this year to build this. Significant re-rate potential. Why follow our stock today? Well, when I look at a basket of some of our other high-grade silver peers, and there's not many of them, high-grade silver assets, they're incredibly rare, but the ones that do exist, when we look at them on an EV per ounce basis, essentially how is each ounce in the ground being valued, we see that they get anywhere from over 50 cents to over $3 per ounce in the ground. Right now, we get 24 cents. So I see this and I think clearly there's an opportunity to re-rate. And we're going to have a lot of work to do throughout 2026, including an updated resource estimate, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail. But there will be clearly an opportunity here for us to start closing in on this valuation gap with some of our other peers. So management team, we're run by a group of well-run exploration geologists. Galen McNamara is our CEO and chief strategist. He's an exploration geologist going back over 20 years now, and he managed a lot of the drilling at NextGen Energy from 2014 to 2018 during the heart of their discovery. But more or less has been precious metal focused ever since. And then Gary Thompson, our executive chairman, also a geologist by trade, has co-founded a number of junior mining companies over the last couple decades, including one successful exit. And then myself, Giordy Belfiore, I am the Vice President, Investor Relations. I've been with this company now, either directly working with Arlen or from the company directly now, a little over 5 years. Capital structure, these are all Canadian figures for your reference. Recent share price of 66 cents with about 208 million shares outstanding gives us a $138 million valuation. 53 million in working capital today, so very strong treasury, plenty of money to get through all of the drilling we have this year, and still plenty of money left over for 2027 as well. Eric Sprott right now is our largest individual shareholder. He personally owns 8% of the company, management and insiders around 10%. Institutional investors, it says they're 19, but I do think that number has been growing. And then about 63% retail owned. In Canada, on our venture listing, we get a couple million shares a day in average volume, trading very strong. On the QX down in the United States, it's in the high hundreds of thousands of shares a day. So the Red Mountain project, This is the most advanced out of our portfolio right now, about 100 miles, 100 kilometers south of Fairbanks. We operate here exclusively on state managed land, which is, from a permitting perspective, is certainly advantageous, being able to avoid some of the federal permitting processes. But this project, it's about a 60-kilometer trend going across it. It currently hosts a 168 million ounce silver equivalent resource at 336 grams per ton. But I'll note here, all of the ounces that we've identified are just on these two targets here, Dry Creek and West Tundra Flats. You'll see that there's another 30 to 35 mineralized prospects on this project that have either seen some drill testing or none at all. So our focus here this summer is we're going to be drilling here in early June until the early fall with 4 rigs turning. 2 of them will stay on Dry Creek in West Tundra, where we still think there's a lot of ounces for us to add, while the other 2 are stepping out at some of these other targets, looking to find that next 100 million ounce deposit. And that's how these types of projects and systems get to be really world-class in size. Now, one thing I want to point out here is a big focus of ours last summer, the 2025 summer drill program we did here, was filling in some of the gaps in the resource that existed. Over here at West Tundra, we lost a lot of ounces and tonnage just based on how the drill spacing was done here historically. We punched 4 holes into it over the summer. We hit on all 4. 2 of them returned some really, really high grade numbers. So we're actually right now looking to update this resource estimate based on the last 2 years of drilling that we've done here. We want to upgrade this 168 million ounce resource to a number that we believe will support a strong PEA. So this is a major catalyst for us. I think it'll be coming out likely over the coming weeks. And like I said, if it gets to a point that internally we feel is strong enough to get this to a PEA, then we'll have that out 6 to 9 months to follow. So our second project, the Hughes project, this one here is halfway between Reno and Las Vegas. It's in the historic Tonopah Mining District. One of the big reasons why you drive through Nevada today, it still says "Welcome to the Silver State," and it's because of this district here. It produced 175 million ounces of silver, almost 2 million ounces of gold at grades over 1,200 grams per ton in the early 1900s. This district hadn't really seen any modern exploration until 2020 when we started operating here. And since then, we've identified a 46 million ounce silver equivalent resource. And next door to us is a company called BlackRock Silver. They've reached over 100 million ounces now. I believe it's 108 million ounces. And they've delineated now, I believe, a $500 million valuation. And our projects here are directly adjacent to one another. You'll see here that there's parts here where we actually directly touch at some points. In terms of access and infrastructure here, we have a highway that cuts right through the project. Commercial water, grid power is all accessible from the town of Tonopah. About 95% of the ounces identified here in this district are on private land. Private land here in Nevada is certainly one of the best places to operate in. In fact, you don't even need a drill permit here on private land, which, as someone that lives here in BC, Canada, I find quite hilarious. Now, just zooming into the project, you'll see the yellow and purple shaded areas. These are our resource outlines that we've already identified. But what we're really focused on this year and the last couple of drilling seasons is the eastern extension to the district, Ruby all the way out to Sapphire. This is a 4-kilometer extension to the Tonopah Mining District that hadn't seen any modern exploration, didn't see any historic mining either. And the reasons for that is that the veins run east-west underground, and as they approach the eastern extension, they run into this fault zone. Now, where this district was at its best was right here at this Belmont target, and all the historic mining stopped right here because they couldn't find the veins on the far east side of this fault zone. You fast forward to today when we got this project and we digitized everything into 3D, did a whole bunch of pre-drilling work, and we said this Ruby target looks really, really good. We've now drilled 12 holes into it and its extension. We've hit on 11 out of 12 holes. and this is really the starting point for our exploration this year. So we're drilling here currently. We're doing 7,000 meters, and it's all about finding the main vein here that we know exists east of this Halifax fault zone. The best result that we got here was 1450 over 3 meters, and that's a great starting point. It proves our theory right that these veins are continuous well east of this fault zone. But where the system's at its best, you'll get that kind of grade over 10, 12, 15 meters, and that's ultimately what we're chasing here. So again, we're drilling here right now, and hopefully we can get some results out from here over the next couple months. Our third asset, called the Mogollon project, this one here is in southwest New Mexico. Smallest resource in our portfolio at 32 million ounces at 367 grams. But we have a funny saying here that our geologists like to reference, and that's that this is like the northernmost of the classic Mexican style vein deposits that exist today. And we say that because all the work we've done is actually on this main queen vein here, and it's our resource zone is shaded in yellow here. This main queen vein gets up to be 40, 50 meters wide at some points. It's incredibly rare to see a system like this in the US. And for us, that's really what gives us that extra bit of value on this project, is that it has some of these Mexican characteristics, but we're north of the border here in the United States. So we actually just wrapped up a short drill program here throughout the winter. We're going to be able to share those assays here over the next couple weeks. And what we were trying to do here was step out from the main resource area and demonstrate a pathway here to a critical mass. Again, it was a short program. We're not going to get to a critical mass just on what we did this winter, but it'll hopefully open the door up to the bigger picture here on this project. Okay, 12-month plan for us. Like I mentioned earlier, we're drilling all three of these projects this year. We just finished in New Mexico and are now transitioning to our Hughes project, which we started last week. That'll carry us all the way until early June, where we're going to be doing a 4-drill rig program in Alaska throughout the summer. So in total, you're getting about 20 to 25,000 meters worth of drilling. We're going to be looking to update the resource here at Red Mountain over the coming weeks with a PEA to follow. And we're in an excellent position to go out and do all of this. We have 53 million in working capital. So we got a full year of catalyst coming up, and we should be well funded heading into 2027 as well. So that's the Silver47 pitch in about 12 or so minutes. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask away.
Awesome, Giordy. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got some questions here. So what is the allocation of funds on these projects on like a percentage basis?
Yeah, so let me just come back up to slide here at the top. So with Red Mountain being the most advanced and it being the closest to a PEA, that one's going to be the bulk of our budget for 2026. That one alone, we're going to be doing 15 upwards to 20,000 meters with 4 rigs over the summer. In Nevada, we're really doing about at least 7,000 meters. I say at least 7,000 because if we're able to get onto that main structure east at Ruby, then I think that there's a great chance that we want to keep a rig turning here all year round. And then the New Mexico drill program was the smallest set of the 3, just doing a few big step out holes looking to kind of prove up the full scale there.
Okay, and then you say all this how much cash will be left after you do your budgeted drill programs?
Yeah, so by the end of this year, I think that we'll probably still be in 20 to 25 million dollars in the bank. Yeah,
it's always good to have money after the results.
Absolutely.
Left over, right? Because you put out great results, and if the market knows you need money, it doesn't matter how good your results are, your banker's going to press on your stock. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome that you've got that kind of capital at the end. Okay. So yeah, right next door to your Hughes project, you got BlackRock with 100 million plus ounces over like almost a $500 million market cap.
Yeah.
Okay. You're 10 million ounces just on the other side there. Yeah. Something doesn't make sense to me here. Why are you not getting better valuation for your Hughes project, do you think?
Yeah. So I can jump back down to the slide here. So When it comes to these high grade underground silver systems, especially in this part of the world, I think it's getting to a critical mass of 100 plus million ounces is obviously very key and crucial. And they've surpassed that. They have 108 million ounces inferred grades. It's over 500 grams per ton, and indicated it's just under 500. And they actually did get up to, we've had a bit of a pullback here the last couple of weeks, but they did get over an $800 million market cap at one point.
Jesus.
And yeah, so we, like Arlen said, we have 10 million in indicated ounces here, but the global resource on our side is actually 46 million ounces. So we're a little less than halfway behind, but they've probably done 5 to 6 times as much drilling as we have here. So we obviously have a lot of catching up to do.
Hmm.
But certainly, I think that if we can start to close in on that critical mass of 100 million ounces over time, we will be able to close that valuation gap.
Drill, baby, drill. You got $50 million in the bank, and you put those two
Absolutely.
projects together. Like if you can ever get to 100 million ounces, now you've got a 200 million ounce kind of district.
Absolutely.
That will sure get people excited. Now, this is really a primary silver project. We just talked to Chen and
Yeah.
Peter about this. Like a lot of
Yeah.
these silver explorers, developers, producers, et cetera, they'll say, "Hey, we're silver, but they're not
Mhm.
necessarily a silver primary play." So,
Yeah.
talk to me about like the silver percentages in all three of your projects quickly, if you can.
Yeah. So here in Nevada, this is the most silver rich out of our portfolio. You're getting about 65% silver, 35% gold. Down in New Mexico, it's really 50-50 silver gold. Can kind of go either way there depending on zones. And then in Alaska, that one's really more, well, it's a polymetallic style deposit. That one is probably about 25% silver, 25% gold, and then 50% is base metals, zinc, lead, copper.
Let it zinc. There's no zinc and lead in some in Mogollon or Hughes.
None. None.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. I think the value of having a U.S. asset, right? Like I don't want to beat a dead horse, and
Yeah.
my God, the poor families. But look what just happened to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Like again, not going to beat a dead horse, but like, oh, having assets in the States, I think is going to be really valuable
Absolutely.
in
And just to,
the overall macro picture of onshoring resources,
yeah.
right?
And just to touch on that a little bit more, I spent a lot of time looking at comps and how other silver companies are being valued. In the US, that list is incredibly short. It's us, it's BlackRock Silver, Apollo Silver and Gold over in California. There's Silver One Resources in Nevada, and then there's Alaska Silver. But really, that list ends right about there amongst the junior miners of the world, anyways, when it comes to high grade and critical mass deposits here. So. Certainly, it's a short list, and I think that there will be a premium associated with being in good jurisdictions like this.
Yeah, 100%. Can you remind me where your last financing was done at?
Yeah, it was actually done at $1.05, with a half warrant at $1.40, and those warrants were good for 3 years. We closed on that January 14th.
And you're currently trading at around 65 cents.
That's right. Yeah,
So that must have been a free trading financing?
that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, like a life financing with a warrant?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then so what price are those warrants at?
a half warrant at $1.40, good for
Okay.
3 years.
Yeah. Okay. Um, when do you start drilling at Red Mountain, do you think? And like probably weather dependent, I'm assuming, like permit
Weather
depending.
dependent, aiming for the first week of June to be
In,
operating and have the rig going.
yeah. And what's cost to drill up there versus like Hughes or down in the States?
Yeah, so all in, Nevada, New Mexico, you're looking at 450 to $500 a meter. And then up in Alaska, because it is heli assisted right now, you're looking at more around $700 to $800 a meter.
Yeah, have we ever seen like drilling costs increase over, not just for you, I'm just like
Yeah.
across the board. Like if they hear 400, 500, 450, 500 for drilling in the States now, like
Yeah.
God, how did that creep up?
It feels like it's more or less doubled since before COVID, a lot of these
Yeah,
prices.
yeah. I'm not saying it's you guys, it's
Yeah,
across the gamut, right?
totally.
Um, yeah.
Totally.
Giordy, awesome. 53 million bucks. Go to
Yeah.
work. Go to work, like put more silver ounces in the ground. I think you've got a great portfolio of assets there.
Yeah.
Well done. It's great to see you,
Thank,
bro.
yeah. Thanks, Arlen. Much
Yeah.
appreciate you having us on. Have a
Yeah.
great one.
Thanks so much.